The design process is used as a guide in developing solutions to problems. The following are steps to follow when designing. The following picture shows how the design process is supposed to flow to be successful. Designers must evaluate, reflect, redefine, and redesign throughout the process. This picture defines the process that a product undergoes during its changes before it is considered successful and ready to go out on the market. There are 8 components used in the creation of a design: point, line, color, value, shape, form, space, and texture. A point is the most basic element of design. A point can be used to indicate a location or can describe coordinates on a plane. Lines only have a length dimension. Lines can be used to define a boundary, indicate volume, create perspective and depth, create textures and patterns, suggest movement, and imply emotion. There are 4 different types of lines: vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and curved. Color can be described by a number of qualities. Hue is the base color. Value is the lightness or darkness, and saturation is the purity or intensity relative to gray. The value is the relative lightness or darkness of a color, object, or shape. The value also allows us to perceive 3D objects on a 2D surface. Shape is a 2D area enclosed by lines or curves. There are 3 different types of shapes: geometric, mechanical, and organic. Form is 3D, volume, or a solid. Form is often implied on a 3D surface with the use of value. Space is the areas between and around parts of an image or the implied depth in that image. There are 2 types of space: positive and negative. Texture is how a surface looks or feels. There are 2 types of textures: smooth and rough. There are 7 components used to add interest to designs: balance, emphasis, contrast, rhythm, proportion, unity, and economy. Balance is a distribution of elements within a design. There are 3 types of balance: symmetrical, asymmetrical, and radial. Emphasis is used to draw attention to one area. Emphasis can be achieved through size, placement, shape, contrast, and the use of lines. Contrast is the degree of relative difference between elements. Rhythm is the repeated use of lines, shapes, color, texture, or patterns. Types of rhythm include regular, radon, graduated, and graduated. Proportion compares elements in relation to design. Proportion is on a scale. Unity is the consistent use of design elements. An example of unity is landscape design. The repetition of the same color, the same plants, and the curved path demonstrates unity. Economy is the use of the bare minimum of elements. Economy can be achieved by removing unneeded elements. One helpful tool in brainstorming is the scamper technique. In the scamper technique, you start with a current solution that somehow addresses the problem that you are investigating. Then you can try to generate new and different ideas by using each of the principles listed. Another helpful tool used in brainstorming is mind mapping. A mind map is a graphical representation that can be used to come up with ideas and visually show them to solve a problem. The ideas are arranged in branches according to importance, with the major ideas branching from the center main idea. Minor ideas then branch from the major ideas. Colors are often used to distinguish between different ideas. This is an example of how mind mapping is used. Lines are used to express an object's geometry. Lines make up what a geometric figure is. Dimension lines are used to show the distance of a certain line. Some lines have precedence over others. Object lines should be shown over hidden and center lines. Hidden lines should be shown over center lines. Cutting plane lines should be shown over all others. There are 3 different perspective drawings: 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. The number refers to the amount of vanishing points used in construction of the drawing. With this drawing, the dimensions are dimensioned correctly. No dimensions are repeated, no dimensions overlap, and each dimension that is needed is listed. This drawing is not dimensioned correctly. As seen with the width and height dimensions in the front view, one of the dimensions is unnecessary in each chain and should be removed. Overall dimensions for width, height, and depth must be present. Dial calipers are used to measure the outside diameter or object thickness, inside diameter or space width, step distance, and hole depth. The International System of Units is a system of measurements consisting of 7 base units. The United States is the only industrialized nation that has not adopted the SI system. The following are referred to as the metric scale. Kilogram is the base unit. The following is the equation for unit conversion. In creating a conversion factor, the desired unit should be placed in the numerator and the given units in the denominator. The value in the numerator is equivalent to the value in the denominator. This allows for the conversion factor to be 1. If you rewrite the original given units as given units over 1, you can see that the given units will cancel, resulting in the desired units over 1, which can just be written without the 1. Assembly constraints allow geometric objects to attach to another geometric object. There are 4 different assembly constraints: mate, flush, angle, tangent, and insert. The mate flush constraint constrains 2 faces, edges, points, or axes together. The angle constraint constrains 2 faces or edges together at an angle to one another. The tangent constraint constrains a curved surface to a plane or another curved surface. The insert constraint constrains a cylinder flush into a hole. A component floating in space has 6 different options of freedom: 3 rotations around the XYZ axis and 3 translations along the XYZ axis.